Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of the Great Millstone, Bashem Rakak. My name is Jacobo from Plain Tables Camp in Philly.
My knees, all I hear is that Big Mac calling me. Ooh, I'm loving it and it feels alright. McDonald's, ooh, I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, yeah, ooh, I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, yeah, McDonald's, what I want, McDonald's, number one, number two, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, if you got it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, gotta get it, Big Mac, T-bone, hot fry, a large fry, a large shake, I want it, sweet tea, gotta be sweet, sweet tea, ooh, I'm loving it and it feels alright, McDonald's, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, yeah, McDonald's.
Alright, seen that. Now this is Deuteronomy 28. They like the entertainment right there, so Jake is Judah's a formidable entertainer. It says Deuteronomy 28 and 27. And this is a curse. And these are the Christians at the church. Black Christians singing about their love for the McDonald's, the Big Mac, and the sweet tea, and hot fry. All right, and this was written in the scriptures that the Lord Yahweh Shai was going to do this to us. It's written in the law in Deuteronomy 28th chapter. All right, these curses mainly affect the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. Whether it's fast food, alcohol, it affects us. It affects everybody, but it especially affects so-called black and Latino community more than anybody. All right, and it's written here. It says Deuteronomy 28 and 28. Well, the video was overall about Christians and how you can't trust their judgment, you can't trust their word. They don't know the scriptures. All right, they're very active. They're doing this is prophecy.
It's that Big Mac calling me. Ooh, I'm loving it and it feels alright. McDonald's. Ooh, I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah. Ooh, I'm.
All right. The very fact that they're doing that fulfills this, these scriptures. So we're going to start here at 27th verse. And Yahweh will smite thee. I'm recording right. Yeah, with the botch of Egypt and with the emerods, which is hemorrhoids, and with the scab and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. All right. Now, when I looked up, let me see. Yeah, hemorrhoid. Paul, which it's hemorrhoids. Oh yeah. Hemorrhoid. And I looked up how do you get hemorrhoids. It says, what foods trigger hemorrhoids? What should I avoid eating if I have hemorrhoids? Cheese, chips, fast food, ice cream, meats, certain meats. So that's like a rough thing that, like pizza and burgers and fries and Big Macs and sweet teas. Well, sweet tea, I got a high fructose corn syrup in there. Sugar, which can turn to fat, and cholesterol. All right. I'm not an expert, but I know those are some of the things I avoid those things to prevent those. Now, all right, that's it right there. And moving on to 28th verse. And this is the wisdom of the Christians. All right, they don't have the truth. All right, to them, the truth is, you just love everybody. Deuteronomy 28:28, Yahweh will smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. All right, so we got they all end with one. We got Shagai one, madness. All right, this is furious, crazy. This is madness, figurative of a wild and helpless panic. All right, you have Israelites that go around a neighborhood and looking for people to rob and to kill. Steal cars. That's a damn mental illness. They don't see a future. They're depressed. They drink. Start of the day, they'll just drink, and the reason why they're drinking is because their mind is gone. They're trying to suppress all the demonic evil shit they've done. All right, this is furious madness. All right, and they do it. They outside, and they get into trouble. All right, you know the trouble they get into. All right. Man, what we got here? We got blindness. I wore one. Blindness. This is figuratively blind. All right. I mean, not be able to discern what the truth is, which direction to go. Most of our people, or a good majority of our people, they wander through life aimlessly without any direction. They have the failure to launch. Let me look that up. I looked up failure to launch. What were we looking at? Blindness. All right. Now, you can use this spiritually and you can use this carnally. But the blindness, is spiritually. But you can use it, for the scripture. The truth is manifold. All right. Failure to launch. It says, call it failure to launch, or Peter Pan syndrome. Peter Pan is a demon that lured young children to the forest and to kill them. All right, Peter Pan. It's the phenomena of adult children not making the transition to adulthood. Scripture's on that. So now as a child, I spoke as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. All right. Roughly paraphrase, a savvy psychologist explores why Peter Pans stay on the launch pad. All right. That's a roughly rough meaning. That's pretty much the gist of what it means. All right. Not making the the phenomena of adult children. I'm recording, yeah. Not making the transition to adulthood. All right. So you can take that spiritually, or carnally in the world. You're 35 years old, still living with your parents. I got a brother that's 32. He won't leave the house. He is like he's afraid. He doesn't want to pay rent. So his excuse is, I want a mortgage, I want a house. So, I left when I was 23. Slept on a love seat for 8 months until I got my own place. Left all that shit behind. All right. Here we go. Blindness. It says blind, incapacity. Come on now. Physical or mental inability to do something or to manage one's affairs. This is why you have a bunch of failures in Israel. All right, incapacity or mental inability. Everything starts in your mind and your brain. You lack the willpower. You lack the determination. You lack the ability to be resolute. I gotta look that up too. I believe that means to be persistent in failure. You keep going again. Resolute. Let's try to multitask here. All right. Firmly resolved or determined, set in purpose or opinion. All right. Decisiveness. Let's see. Characterized by firmness and determination as the temper, spirit, action, resolve. It goes back to resolve. To come to or define or earnest decision about, determined to do something. All right, so this is a curse that a lot of our people are under. This curse that I was under. I'm still working on things, speaking in general. But, this is a huge issue amongst the people of our nation. Mainly I'm talking about the men. All right. But, women and men and women. All right. Still living in the basement. That's a proverb. I'm sure you've heard it before. And let me read it one more time. Physical and mental inability to do something or to manage one's affair. Like, use example, my brother. He's 32 years, just turned 32 a couple weeks ago. Still, he has a failure to launch. His excuse is he doesn't want to pay rent. He wants a mortgage because he's wasting the money paying rent. I don't know what would you classify him as, a millennial or a younger millennial, or I don't know what the terms is, like, or it might be the one lower, more into the future, like a Z or something like that. All right. So what word was that? Blindness. All right. Now, what the scripture says, them that wander out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. You're blind. All right. Meaning you when the prophets go out and preach, you don't take heed to what the prophets are saying. You don't. It doesn't correlate. You're not in agreement. You're in disagreement. All right. It doesn't. You can't be in sync with what the brother's saying. All right. You fight. You want to fight. You're resistant. Now, if this is cutting you, then I'm talking about you. All right. This is all right. It says, with blind staggers, walk or move unsteadily as if about to fall. Yeah, like you got most of the Israelites, they walk throughout life without any direction. They wander, stagger throughout life aimlessly with no definite purpose. All right. Making them helplessly wild. All right. That's Israel. The ox knoweth his owner and the ass his master's crib. But the people of Israel don't know. They wander aimlessly. They don't know how to make it back. And we telling them. And that's the Lord putting a mental block on certain Israelites, on 2/3 of Israel. All right. You got to break this damn mental block, your mental stupidity. All right. Prayer and fasting. It really is up to Yahweh Shai. But that's why we give you these exhortations. All right. To call you to our side. All right. To call you exaltation. To call you to our side. To make you of our mind, so we can be of one mind. All right. Next word, we got thamawan, astonishment, bewilderment, a feeling of being perplexed and confused, stupefaction, the state of being stupefied, make unable to think or feel properly. All right. Astonishment. Great surprise, bewilderment. You got perplexed, completely baffled, very puzzled. They hear us and they had no clue what the hell we're talking about. Like the Lord loves everybody. Nah, this is their wisdom.
Is that Big Mac calling me? I love, ooh, I'm loving it and it feels alright. McDonald's, ooh, I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, yeah, ooh.
All right, so you can't listen to them. All right. Yeah, stupefaction, bewilderment, perplexed, great surprise, perplexed, completely baffled, or very puzzled. They don't know. They don't know how to make it back to the source so they can digest the information. All right, to cure their blindness. Well, Isaiah 6 and 9. I gotta get that now. That was the last word from Deuteronomy 28. So, all right, that was the last word. So we can move on. Yeah, that wasn't on my list. Let's say 6 and 9. It says, no, 6 and 10. 6 and 10. That's lucky. It was paused. It was muted. Isaiah 6 and 9. Isaiah 6 and 10. And make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they hear with their eyes, and lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. So the Lord doesn't want 2/3 of Israel to understand, to digest His word. All right. Make the heart of these people fat. Shaman, which means oil. When you look it up in the context of the scripture, go down here. It says to cover with fat, metaphor. For example, to cover over the heart, with the we mean the mind, make you blind, make you astonished, bewildered, perplexed, very puzzled. To cover with the fat. With fat, metaphor, to cover over the heart with the mind, as it were with fat, to render it callous, meaning hard-headed, can't get right, all right, so as not to heed the words of the prophet. All right. To cover with fat, metaphor, for example, to cover over the heart as it were with fat, to render it callous, hard-headed, so as not to heed the words of the prophet. All right, that's heavy. All right, all that high fructose corn syrup and sugar gonna break down in the fat. It's gonna store in your damn stomach and your neck. It's gonna make your mind cloudy and foggy. You ain't gonna be able to think. You're gonna be monotone, simple, can't get right. All right, gonna be stupid, stupefaction, state of being stupefied. All right, moving on. Jeremiah 5 and 7. How shall, where we at? 19 minutes. How we get it in 30? All right. How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me, and sworn by them that are no gods. When I feed them, when I have fed them to the full, they have committed adultery and assembled themselves by troops in the harlot houses. All right, here the point is the harlot houses. Assembled themselves by troops in the harlot houses. All right, we're going to do the harlot house song.
All I hear is that Big Mac calling me. I love, ooh, I'm loving it and it feels alright. McDonald's, ooh, I'm loving loving it. Yeah, McDonald. Number 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 if you got it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I gotta get it.
All right. So they learned their doctrine from the harlot houses. All right. Now we look up harlots in the Greek. Let's see. Come on now, where you at? We got Porne in the Septuagint. Goes back to Porne of Babylon. So they learned their doctrine from the harlot house. This is why they believe it. All right, we got Porne. We look up harlot houses. That's talking about the church of Babylon, for example, Rome, of the chief seat of idolatry. Right, so Babylon, America, is the chief seat of idolatry. All right. When the word was being used in the book of Revelation, it was referring to America. All right. America there, Revelation 17. Hate the whore, great judges, great whore, it's America. All right. In general, all right, referring to actual harlots and being not worshiping the Father correctly, going off and then not accepting Yahushua after he was revealed to Israel. All right. So those are the meanings of harlot. Harlot houses are referring to the church, as in Jeremiah 5 and 7. All right, idolatry, which is to worship another god, idolatress, as they put the feminine on there. All right, to worship a different religion outside of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which consists of the laws, the writings, the prophets. All right, and you got the gospel, all right, which is prophets. All right, both before Yahushua and after Yahushua, all right, and during Yahushua's time. That's the gospel. All right, the prophets preach the gospel. All right, I think we got that. All right, so they learned their doctrine from the harlot in Babylon. All right. It says Isaiah 29:11, 29:10. For Yahweh hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers hath he covered. Now these prophets and rulers are referring to the ones, the Israelites that were not commissioned by the Most High, by Yahweh, or Yahushua. All right. Isaiah was commissioned, so the Lord didn't close Isaiah's eyes or his ears. All right. But you had, hypocrites and leaders in Israel that the Lord was not working with, but they came up in those offices. All right, and posed as being the leaders and the prophets, and fulfilled their office, and they were going off from the will of Yahweh. All right, and they do that the same thing today. You have the leaders amongst Israel. You have spiritual leaders amongst Israel that go off. All right, that don't preach the true gospel. All right. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned. All right, talking about the churches, saying, "Read this, I pray thee." And he saith, "I cannot, for it is sealed." All right. The elder apostle Tahar went into that. You got certain Israelites that only go into the Old Testament, or they go into the New Testament, and or they don't. If they go into the New Testament, they don't break it down completely. They got part of it broke down. Amongst Great Millstone, we got the whole thing broke down. All right, and we teach it to the congregation. All right, like the main things are for the public, but there's certain other things that only shared between the heads. They're brothers with experience. But for the main parts, the prophecies that are like the main prophecies you need to know that are about to come to pass. All right, it's going to save your life. We teach freely to the openly to the congregation. I pray he saith, and he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. All right. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. All right. So you have a lot of Israelites that are not even learned, that profess to be Israelites, that say they're Israelites and they're not, but do lie. All right. So we don't study that part. All right. They just deal with the Old Testament, or we don't look at the Bible that way. We look at it a different way. All right. So cover both, learned and unlearned. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. All right. Or go to a regular Israelite. Like, well, what does this mean? Well, I don't know. It hasn't been revealed yet. All right. I'm not a theologian. I didn't go to theologian school or theology, whatever you call it. All right. It says, wherefore the Lord saith, for as much as this people draw near to me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. And their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. All right. Yeah, because they make up their own rules. The Lord loves everybody. Hebrew Israelism. Hell. You're going to go to hell and burn forever. All right. And this is why the Lord put those curses in Deuteronomy 28, which I started off with. All right. Because they are in the harlot houses, and they're learning about the Lord from the enemy. They learn in plantation Christianity, as that other apostle coined it, right, which is their interpretation of how to live a godly life, which is totally wrong. All right, that's plantation Christianity. All right, and what's going to happen, the prophecy, what they mean, what's going to happen in the end. All right, they go completely off. And I'll end it with this. This is 1 John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the power, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. I'll go false prophet. The video should be fairly easy to digest. It's not really complicated. It's not really that many layers. Well, I mean, anything can be complicated if you don't know where to start. All right. And you have to ask questions. You can't be blind like I started off with. Just rewind the video and you go back to the Deuteronomy 28 where I started off at and look up where I read those words, broke down those words and the meaning. All right, pseudo-prophetess. All right, one who acting the part of divinely divinely inspired prophet utters falsehoods under the name of divine prophecies, a false prophet. Pretender, foreteller, or religious imposter, and that's what all those the Christians are. They're religious imposters. Because even though they don't call themselves prophets, they're when they preach, that's what they're doing. They're prophesying. When they say you're going to burn in hell if you don't do this or don't do that, or they tell you what a scripture means, they're taking the office of a prophet, whether they say it or not. All right. Especially the leaders of them. Mainly I'm talking about the leaders of those different churches. All right, they're in the office of a prophet. All right, and every time they bring a scripture out and tell you what it means, they're prophesying. All right, pretended foreteller or religious imposters, false. All right, they're false. They're false teachers. A prophet is also a teacher, and they're uttering falsehoods. All right, a falsehood could be anything. All right, it could be a prophecy. It could be a historical event. It could be extrapolating on, what scripture means, breaking down a scripture, a parable. All right. Like a parable doesn't necessarily have to be a prophecy. All right. So uttering falsehoods. So that's the office of a prophet. All right. To utter something that true or false. All right. It says for many false prophets gone out into the world. So most people on the planet that preach the Bible or preach in the name of the Bible are false prophets. That's most of the people. You only have a very small number of men that the Lord ordained to actually be his true prophets. All right, whereby you know the spirit of the power of Yahweh. Every spirit that confesseth that Yahweh Shai Mashiach has come in the flesh is of the power. Yeah, so if you confess that, that means you believe in the promise that the Lord Yahweh Shai was manifest to take away the sins of Israel. All right. That's a lesson in itself. But that's not what this lesson is about. All right. And every spirit that confesses, 1 John 4:3, and every spirit that confesseth not that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is come in the flesh is not of the power, and this is the spirit of the Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is in the world. All right, so all of those churches, whether they ran by Edomites or Israelites or Moabites, all right, that say that everybody in the world can be delivered. Doesn't matter what your national origin is. Doesn't matter if you came from Jacob. You can still be delivered. If they're saying that, they're not confessing that the Lord came in the flesh. All right. Ye are of the power, little children. We're the little children, the Israelites. All right. Namely, the elect of Israel. All right. Well, here is referring to the elect of Israel and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So only the elect had that blessing to overcome Satan. All right, which is meaning to endure to the end. All right, they are of the world. Therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. We are of the power. He that knoweth the power heareth us. He that is not of the power heareth not us. So if you can't break down, if you can't interpret what we're interpreting to you, all right, that means the Lord's eventually going to destroy you. I mean, you're going to die in a nuclear fire. If you can't comprehend that this shit right here, all right, the church breeds this. All right. It breeds this love. All right. They're just getting out of church, acting a damn fool. All right. So this is a representation of the Christian church. All right. All right. This is we are of the power. He that knoweth the power heareth us. He that is not of the power heareth not us, whereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. All right. Yeah. So I mean, you have to search the scriptures, and you can find out who the Lord came to deliver. All right. Which is the Israelites. All right. Spirit of error. Let's see. You got plane, wandering, to straying, but blind. All right, one led astray from the right way. Roams. So you got to have a system. Move about or travel aimlessly. I was just saying that at the beginning of the lesson. Got to rewind to the beginning of the lesson. All right, when I'm breaking down Deuteronomy 28. In 28, I believe. The Lord shall smite thee with blindness. All right. Move about or travel aimlessly or unsystematically, especially over a wide area. That's Israel in a nutshell. That's why they're fucking up so much. That's why they're poor. All right. It's because the Lord smit them with blindness. All right. The Lord said that he haven't seen his servants begging bread. All right. So yeah, we're poor relative, to Esau and the other nations, but the Lord said he's going to give us, enough to sustain us, to keep us going. All right. We just have to pray and stay on the right path, and the Lord will lead us. All right. And if you're on the wrong path, that's why you have brothers there to knock your ass back on the right path. All right. Roam hither and thither, metaphor. Mental straying. I said in the beginning of the lesson, everything starts with your mind. And I don't think I've ever looked this word up before. Error, wrong opinion, or morals. Morals is the way the moral is in the center. All right, because you have a certain way you look at life. You can look the word up yourself. All right, but the word moral is in the center. All right, then you develop your own, biases and likes and dislikes and everything. All right, like emotion's in the center. All right, you have anger, hate, happiness, joy. But the word emotion is in the center. And then you have the arrows like pointing in every direction of what the emotion is. All right, error, opinion, relative. Error, which shows itself in action. All right. A wrong mode of acting. Error, that which leads into error, deceit or fraud. Error. All right. And I'm closing out right here. This is the last scripture. We are of the power. All right. We have the greatest power, the source in the universe, Yahweh. All right. And because we fucked up so much, Yahweh manifested Yahweh Shai. So now we worship Yahweh Shai, and he's bringing us back to our former power. We're going to get our minds back. We're going to get our bodies back. We're going to get all our talents back. All right. But right now, we're practicing, all right, to reach that perfection. And we'll get that when we get our new bodies. All right. We are of the power. That should give you encouragement right there. We are of Yahweh. He that knoweth Yahweh heareth us. He that is not of Yahweh heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. All right. And we connected to the source, the Lord, the creator of the universe. All right. Yahweh Shai, which was commissioned by the Father, Yahweh. We got the source. All right. Other nations don't have that. That's the gift that we have. All right. That should give you encouragement. All right. That's infinite creativity. All right. Creation. And it starts in your mind. All right. That's a powerful word right there. All right. And you fuck up and you die because you wander aimlessly. All right. One led astray from the right way. All right. That kills you eventually. All right. And I'll close it out with this video in full. All right. Hope you edified. Shalom.
Gotta be sweet. We see that to my knees. All I hear is that Big Mac calling me. Ooh, I'm loving it and it feels alright. McDonald's. Ooh, I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah. Ooh, I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah. McDonald's. What I want. McDonald's. Number one. Number two. 2 and 3. 3 and 4. 5 and 6. 7, 8. 9, 10. 11, 12. 12 if you got it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. Gotta get it. Gotta get it. Big Mac. T-bone. Half fry. A large fry. A large shake. I want it. I want it. I want it. Sweet tea. Gotta be sweet. Sweet tea. Sweet tea. Ooh, I'm loving it and it feels